Then the Queen's lawyer knocked on her door. Lady Eleanor Ashford, 68 years young, widow, former auxiliary nurse, and until last Tuesday, the woman scrubbing other people's toilets in the only home I'd known for 30 years. Welcome to Eleanor's fireside. If you're new here, pour yourself a proper English breakfast tea, milk first, naturally, and settle in. This one is served ice cold. Tuesday the 14th of October, Ashford Manor, Cotswolds, England. I was on my knees in the blue drawing room, the one with the original 1789 Wedgwood jasperware fireplace, polishing the parquet my late husband Charles and I had restored plank by plank in 1998. My stepdaughter Victoria, 35, third wife of a hedge fund baron named Rupert, swept in wearing Louboutins that cost more than my first car. "Eleanor, darling," she trilled, not looking at me. "Rupert and I have decided the East Wing is wasted on, well, storage and sentiment. We're turning it into a wellness suite. You'll have the old housekeeper's flat above the stables, much cozier for someone in your position. My position. I had been married to Lord Charles Ashford, 11th Earl of Ashford, for 30 years. I nursed him through cancer, held his hand when he breathed his last in this very house, and buried him under the yew tree he planted the day Victoria was born. And now I was someone in your position." I kept polishing. The beeswax smelled like every Christmas I'd ever spent here. Victoria tapped her phone. "The removal men come Thursday, pack light." I nodded. "Of course, dear. Wednesday, the 15th of October. The stable's flat. They gave me 48 hours. I moved into the old housekeeper's rooms. One bedroom, a hot plate, and a shower that dripped brown water. My clothes went into black bin bags. My wedding album, Charles's medals from the Falklands. The photograph of us on our wedding day at St. Margaret's, Westminster, where half the royal family had attended, were boxed and labeled Eleanor Charity Shop. Victoria even took my late husband's signet ring off my finger. "It belongs to the estate now," she said. "You were only ever the caretaker." That night I sat on a plastic chair in a flat that smelled of damp and horses, and cried until I had nothing left. Tuesday the 21st of October, 11:07 a.m. I was drinking tea from a chipped mug when the gravel crunched outside like a military parade. Through the grimy window I saw it, a burgundy Rolls-Royce Phantom, flying lady on the bonnet, diplomatic plates starting with the letters QC, Queen's Counsel. The chauffeur wore the full royal livery. I thought I was hallucinating. The who stepped out was tall, silver-haired, and carried a briefcase that probably cost more than Victoria's wedding dress. He looked straight at my stable door and knocked with the handle of an umbrella that had almost certainly been a gift from Her late Majesty. I opened the door, in my dressing gown and slippers. "Lady Eleanor Ashford?" he asked, bowing slightly. I laughed, a cracked sound. "No one's called me that in 30 years. He smiled the way only people who have never worried about money smile. "Madam, my name is Sir Jonathan Hargreaves, KC, senior partner at Ferrer & Co. I have the honor of representing the Duchy of Ashford and the Crown Estate. May I come in?" I stepped aside. There was barely room for both of us and centuries of history. He placed the briefcase on my wobbly table and opened it. Inside was a single document bound in crimson Morocco leather and sealed with the Ashford crest in gold wax. I stared. The entailed estate was Ashford Park, 42,000 acres, one of the largest private land holdings in England. The unentailed fortune was currently valued, he said quietly, at £1.41 billion. On the 9th of September, he began, His Grace the 14th Duke of Ashford, your natural father, passed away without male issue. His will, executed in 2018 and witnessed by the late Queen herself, names you, Lady Eleanor Margaret Ashford, as sole heir to the entailed estate, the unentailed fortune, and all subsidiary holdings. I stared. The entailed estate was Ashford Park. 40 subsidiary holdings included the very manor house in which Victoria was at that moment having her morning Pilates class. Sir Jonathan turned to the last page. "There is a letter, my lady. I took it with hands that suddenly belonged to someone else. Tuesday, the 21st of October, 2 p.m. Sir Jonathan drove me himself, me in my dressing gown and slippers, back to Ashford Manor in the Phantom. Victoria was in the entrance hall directing workmen on where to hang her new Damien Hirst. "Eleanor?" she squeaked. "Why are you in that car?" Sir Jonathan stepped forward, removing his gloves one finger at a time. "Miss Victoria Sinclair Harrington, By order of the High Court of Justice, Chancery Division, you and your husband are hereby served notice to quit Ashford Manor within 24 hours. The property has reverted to its rightful owner, her ladyship the Countess of Ashford. He handed her the crimson-sealed envelope the way one might hand someone a death warrant. Victoria opened her mouth. Nothing came out. I finally spoke softly, in the voice Charles taught me to use when addressing the House of Lords. "Victoria, darling," I said, "the stables flat is lovely this time of year. Much cozier for someone in your position? Wednesday, the 22nd of October, eviction day." They tried everything. Rupert threatened to sue. Sir Jonathan produced a 1688 deed that made their lease look like a post-it note. Victoria screamed that I was just the help. The Duke of Norfolk's actual solicitor rang to congratulate me on my inheritance and ask if I'd be attending the next palace garden party. By 3 p.m., the removal vans were loading Victoria's designer handbags into a transit van, while she sobbed on the gravel in Chanel sweatpants. I stood on the front steps in a dove-gray Chanel suit that had been delivered from London that morning. Pearls returned to my neck where they belonged. Rupert tried one last time. "This is our home." "No," I said. "This is the Ashford Children's Home for orphans of fallen servicemen and women. Opening spring 2026. You'll read about it in Tatler." Victoria looked up. Mascara rivers. "You can't be serious." I smiled, the way only a woman who has nothing left to lose and everything to give can smile. "Deadly, darling." Epilogue. 1 year later, Ashford Manor is no longer silent marble and ego. The East Wing is a nursery. The West Wing is a therapy center. The stables, my old flat, is now the matron's cottage. And yes, I live there sometimes, just to remember. Victoria and Rupert live in a 2-bedroom flat above a kebab shop in Swindon. The tabloids call it the fall of the House of Harrington. I never press charges. Some punishments are better served cold in public. Every November 11th I open the gates. Hundreds of children in tiny berets and poppies run across lawns their fathers never came home to see, and on the mantelpiece of what used to be the blue drawing room, beside a photograph of Charles and me on our wedding day, sits a silver frame. Inside is the note from my father, and a new one, in my own handwriting, to every little girl ever told she's just the help. One day the Queen's lawyer will knock. Make sure you're ready to open the door. This is Lady Eleanor Ashford, Countess, widow, matron, and forever, the woman who reminded them who raised queens. God save the Queen, and long live the real ones. Eleanor, out.